Our guest today is one of the most well-known French actresses abroad. She plays in many films shot in the US, notably, and this year she's made a successful transition to a role behind the camera. Her first film as a director, Today's in Paris, was presented at the Berlin Festival and comes out in France this week. Julie Delpy, hello. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, so why did you feel the urge, like many actors, to get into directing? Is it because it offers more freedom than acting?
Well, it's a different kind of work, and I for a long time I've been writing screenplays, and I've tried to make movies, and no one gave me money. It's the first movie people get. It's the first screenplay people give me money for.
It was expensive movies.
Yeah, they were more expensive, and this one was cheaper, shot in 20 days. It was a smaller film, and somehow it allowed me to be able to do this. So that was a great opportunity for me.
So Today's in Paris tells the story of a French-American couple, Marion and Jacques. They live in New York, and on the way back from a trip to Venice, they decide to stop by Paris, the most romantic city in the world, right? Well, not at all, because these 2 days quickly turn into a nightmare. Though, to be fair, Jacques is a grumpy guy with hypochondriac tendencies, as we'll see in this excerpt.
Honey, what the fuck is that?
Oh, it's a leak. It's an old building. There's leaks all the time. The plumber... I mean, there's no plumber in France.
Is that black mold?
What's black mold?
The deadliest fungus known to man if you inhale it?
Don't inhale.
It's not funny. I mean, seriously.
All right. No, it was there when I was here in January. It's fine. It's not black. It's green. Look at it. It's green. It's like blue cheese. It's fine. I mean, it's probably good for you, even.
Okay, everybody out. Everybody out.
Everybody out.
I'm condemning the bathroom. It's a hot zone.
All right.
It's a biohazard.
Okay, we'll shit in the corner of the room.
We'll shit outside.
Yeah, perfect.
Honestly, this place is like a petri dish for allergens. You know that.
Listen, we have allergies because we are too clean, okay? 100 years ago, we were covered in parasites and we had no allergies.
Really?
Yes.
Oh. So is that the same theory behind the French not bathing?
Yes. You sure you haven't found my contact lenses?
No, I have not found it.
In your bag?
No, I don't feel
Which
well.
one for my dad?
I don't feel well. I can't tell if it's a migraine or if it's a flu. Can I use this thermometer?
I usually don't use this one in the mouth.
Hmm?
I don't use this in the mouth. I mean...
Oh, come on! What is wrong with you?
What? Well, it's a French thermometer.
Are you 5? You still use a thermometer up your ass?
It's the only way to get your temperature properly.
Oh, why? Why?
I haven't used it in, like, a few months. Okay, I take a shower first, all right?
Okay, make sure to take some antibiotics first.
What's the idea? Love is complicated, but it's more complicated when there are cultural differences?
Well, I think, there are many differences between men and women, and many miscommunication between men and women, but I guess when it's two different cultures, it adds up to even more differences and misunderstanding and all this. So I really play with that.
Is American culture so far from French culture?
No, really it isn't. We still wake up in the morning, go to breakfast, have a day at work and all this. It's very much similar cultures. But then when you go into more details, when you go closer, when you take a microscope and start studying the two cultures, you see those little tiny differences which can become a whole world if you're, like Jack, very neurotic and,
In fact, let's continue the story of these 2 nightmarish days for Jack. Let's fast forward through Marion's annoying exes, the racist taxi drivers, the American haters, and pause on Marion's parents. Let's take a look at an excerpt.
Allez faire une balade dans Paris tous les deux?
I would like to go see the catacombs. What? Père Lachaise.
Catacombe, Père Lachaise, bah dis donc. C'est un bout en train, ton copain.
Well, to see Jim Morrison's grave.
Jeannot very angry with me because me with Jim in 69 sex fun, everyone with everyone.
Oh, well, the mother's a slut.
Albert Delpy and Marie Pillet are your real parents, and suddenly I'm very afraid for you. Are they this crazy, or are they playing roles?
Well, they're both actors. They've been theater actors for 45 years or something like that. So, they've been acting forever. But they're not really like that. Like, my father is not as naughty.
I'm reassured.
And my mom is not a slut.
So the father in the movie of course, is perverse. He makes fun of his American son-in-law non-stop. Nobody is spared in your film. There is, for instance, the hypocritical bourgeoisie, the nutty leftists, and so on. So why do you dislike so much your compatriots?
No, I mean, there's a few things about France that I like to make fun of and criticize, you know. I mean, definitely, you know, there are, you know, a few racist people in France, you know, unfortunately. There are a few horrible bourgeois, and there are a few, you know, also make fun of, like, you know, the dirty father that's obsessed with sex and all that. So, but I have fun with it because I also have a lot of, you know, there's a lot of things about France that I don't like and I make fun of, and there's also a lot of things about France that I love. So I express both sides in the film. And I also make fun of Americans as well, you know, are neurotic and, you know, uptight they are about sex. Not all of them, but some of them, and things like that, and, you know, and you know, a certain kind of hypocrisy and stuff. So I show both sides, and but it's always in a humoristic way, so it's never really mean, you know. It's always with fun and joy, because I still love both culture, you know, but there's things that bothers me in both cultures. So,
so you love France, but you live in the States.
Yes, I do.
So why this choice?
Well, I just, you know,
very few French actresses live in the States. Sometimes
but I do live
they work.
Half and half. I mean, I would say it's 6 months, you know. And actually, many more than you think do live in America, but they don't say it because it doesn't make them French enough. So they stay. They say they stay in France, but in fact, they live in America.
Hypocrisy.
French hypocrisy. So they stay in France more. They are in America more than I am, but they say they live in France. So no, basically, you know, I enjoy being in another culture. I love being a stranger in another place. You know, it's a nice feeling to be always a foreigner. And I kind of feel like a stranger in Paris sometime and a stranger in America. I kind of like that.
Okay, thank you so much, Julie Delpy, for having me our guest today. Today's in Paris, so we'll be out in France on July 11th, and see you tomorrow for a new culture magazine.